Hello my friends! In my studio, I had displayed on a three-part board all the photos of my painting in a spiral that I had named the Odyssey of Consciousness. I had put this title in a moment of inspiration, as with all my paintings, without thinking about on the deep meaning that I still felt confusedly deep inside me. You can see on my Instagram account the main paintings that proved to be preliminary. Don't forget that my original intention was only to earn a living by doing something enjoyable and above all by staying free without boss. In fact, I was about to find one again when I discovered a special relationship between music, light and electronics. But it is not earthly. This consciousness is the one that materializes through me by revealing himself to be perceived and felt by as many people as possible. It is part of the infinite dimension, eternally unified, intelligent and active. It is his action that we call destiny. This is what I encounter in Extasium sessions. I wish to make you know and share the fantastic sensation of happiness beyond all that it gives me every day. But let's continue the saga of my fabulous destiny so that you can understand how things happened. While contemplating my electronic painting animated by music, which I modified to make them more captivating, I realized that certain form of light had more impact on the audience, that the balance of colors was paramount. If it changed the chase in one place, I had to reconsider the whole thing. By using small lamps, I could not install another composition in the same place, as you can do with a few clicks on a computer. It's because I was using these little 48 volts that I discovered what would lead me to Extasium. Through research and experimentation, which I was able to undertake thanks to the sale of my paintings, I had the idea or the intuition or the inspiration that if I pushed to the extreme the logic of this relationship between painting, light, music and electronic, I should arrive at a unique painting more captivating than any other show. A crazy idea, apparently, but which finally led to the Extasium, which is much more than a simple painting. The appearance of my compositions had transformed by the relationship with the music. I had succeeded in breaking through the strictly geometrical and square bas-relief-like form that I perceive as a door to another dimension. I then entered another universe between esotericism and science fiction where I traveled in another form of beauty. But after a while, I realized that the relationship with music imposed on me a centered and geometrical construction that brought me back to the starting trail. In order to create this unique painting, I engaged in intellectual speculation about the position of lamps in warm colors related to low frequencies, alternating with cold colors related to high frequencies. I thus carried out a geometrical construction which was the basis of the structure of the painting. It was October 27, 1981, my birthday. What a gift from destiny. However, I realized that I had made a mistake and that this image had little to do with the music. On the other hand, I turned out to be fundamental in the final composition in fluorescent light, which will be the heavenly Jerusalem, which I wasn't thinking about at all at the time. I will tell you later how I managed, with great difficulty, to build this painting, which is now called the Gate of Ecstasy, and which acts so strongly. One day, I was standing on the doorstep of our little pavilion in Courbevoie to make hand signal to my family who were leaving the place to go and live in Bagneux, south of Paris, in a larger pavilion with a large garden and above all a more spacious workshop for my father's business. Unlike most young people, I didn't leave the family home. My family left me. We lived in the expropriation zone of the defense district. My father had sold the house on the condition that I could stay there until it was demolished a few years later. I had found a job in an architecture firm, and I was quick to tell my father that it was no longer worthwhile to finance me, very modestly. But shortly afterward, the agency no longer needed my services. In spite of the difficulty, I did not tell my father about it out of pride, and I had to spend long months eating only breadcrumbs before finding another job. I didn't die from it. The rent I had to pay every quarter was very low. But when you don't have money, it's still too much. So I proposed to several friends from the Beaux to come and share this house anyway, too big for me alone. There were architect students, a sculptor, a painter, an engraver, and finally singers and musicians. We had a lot of good time together, except for the dishes, which no one wanted to do, most of them coming from bourgeois families from the province were not used to this kind of activity. I left the brass band because I was the only one to pass the entrance exam in my first year, and our schedules plus my work in architectural agencies no longer allowed me to do so. The first project I had to do an analytical study, an analog, of a contemporary building. It was completely new, because until then one could only be interested in classical architecture. It was a good thing, destiny, because with my knowledge of industrial design I felt at ease. On the advice of an elder, I chose a subject that could only please a rather conformist jury. It was the house of Gadet, located at the port of Saint-Cloud in Paris, who had written well-known books on architecture, built in 1912 by the Perez brothers, great pioneers of concrete constructions. To note our works, if there was nothing marked when we went to see the result of the judgment in the large room where they were exhibited, which was called the Melpo of Melpomene, the muse of music, represented by a large sculpture, we had an oven. Otherwise, you would get a mention, and even a first mention, if it was judged very well. That's what I received. And at the end of the year, the bosses would select the best one of the whole year, which was mine. I was awarded the 1965 Marshal Prize.